Hello and welcome to another episode of Conversations about Priesthood. Today's conversation will be with Jenny McKay, who is from the Diocese of Chester. And as always, really looking forward to this conversation. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, Vanessa. Nice to talk to you.
Yes, nice to meet you virtually. Wonderful. Would you like to introduce yourself a bit more and maybe talk a bit about the context that you're currently in?
Okay, well, I'm actually what's called a minister in secular employment. So my secular profession, if you like, is as a veterinary pathologist. So I work very much in a laboratory environment, a very scientific background. And I used to be working very much on site in the lab. And since I've been qualified as a priest, I try and go into my lab and wear a dog collar. However, with COVID, my role changed substantially. So I do a lot of working from home. And my ministry in that workplace has changed really. And I've had to develop a virtual ministry, which I call the Rev'd Vet. So I have a big social media presence now. So initially I wanted to reach out to my workplace on social media because I wasn't going to be there. And things just grew. And I suppose my calling as minister in secular employment has changed throughout COVID, because I see social media as a fantastic way to reach out to people who wouldn't normally go to church. So I've always wanted to be a minister in that secular world, really. That's very important to me. But the change over to more of a virtual ministry has definitely been more recent. Still attached to a parish church, and I help at 2 or 3 Sundays a month, but obviously my time has to be limited because the calling is to the workplace and not the parish.
Oh gosh, I love that. So virtual vet.
Yeah. So it's at the Rev'd Vet. So I'm out there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm going to get myself onto TikTok as well.
Oh, love that. Oh, amazing. Wonderful. Well, yeah, what would you say have been some of the joys and challenges of this ministry?
One of the challenges is that it's always been very difficult to explain to people about that role. And I found that when I went for my BAP interview as well. There was a lack of understanding there as to what minister in secular employment is. I mean, it depends where your environment is, but I was being asked questions like, how would you baptize in your workplace? Will you be able to give communion? And it's just not about that at all. I mean, my role is very much a pastoral role, not as a chaplain, because I've got to do the day job, but essentially it's walking alongside people in their daily lives and being a presence there to people who probably would never come in contact with a priest. So very hard to get that across in in the interviews. I think some clergy struggle with it as well. They kind of want you to help as much as you can in the parish, but what I do Monday to Friday is probably not fully understood. And I do find one of the joys of the thing is that actually the people who don't go to church, the non-clergy, actually seem to understand it a lot more. And they think it's very cool and wacky that you've got somebody who's a priest who's actually embedded in the real world.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, well, thank you for that. And so do you have any sort of words of advice or wisdom for individuals who are exploring a vocation to ordained ministry, particularly to priesthood?
Whatever aspect of ministry you want to go into, I would say try and meet with somebody who works in that particular area. So whether that's an MSA, chaplain, parish minister, have lots and lots of conversations about it. Don't be put off if you feel this is what you're being called to. I would, not necessarily be put off if people don't understand what your ministry is, which is kind of what happened to me. So persevere. It is your calling. You do have to discern it properly. So talking with the right people, getting a spiritual director is very important as well. You should do all those things. Pray about it. That's very, very important. And for me, who love silent retreats, having some time to go away and reflect and think what you want to do, I think that helps you delve into your deepest soul and what maybe you are being called to do.
Yeah, thank you for that. I particularly find what you said about persevering. I find that really helpful, and definitely one that I will hold on to. Jenny, thank you so much for this conversation, and really just thank you also so much for taking time out to be having this conversation with me, but also to share some of your experience and a bit of your story as well. Really fascinating. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Wonderful. And so until next time, bye.
Bye.